4 decades ago, when you and Randy first met each other and you're playing junior hockey up in Sudbury, in your wildest dreams, can you look back and now think ahead that maybe there was some coaching experience in both of you that was going to be fulfilled someday?
Well, no, not at that age. That's the last thing you're thinking about is coaching. You're just trying to get yourself to the National Hockey League. So, but you know, later on in our hockey careers, after we retired and that, we both got into coaching. So it became a little bit more of a reality then, and obviously we're here now. So it's been a great experience.
There had to be some coaching role models along the way for both of you, but you specifically that inspired you and you've taken into this current regime here with Toronto.
Well, you know, back in our junior days, we had a lot of great coaches back in there. Last year, Jerry Topazzini, we had Stu Duncan, Mac McLean were my 3 coaches in junior, and they got us prepared very well for our pro careers. They let us know how the pros were going to play and react and all those type of things and live, so it was a good preparation for us. We're glad we had it.
Go back to your Ranger days and your first pro head coach in terms of Fred Shero. Could even he have trouble convincing Phil Esposito not to keep his shifts under 2 minutes?
Well, not really. I started off, John Ferguson was my first coach my first year, and then Freddie was in my 3rd year there, and either one of them, it's always tough to get Phil to cut his shift short, but he was like a camel, didn't need a lot of water, so he was able to stay out there all day long, and he sure made up for it by getting lots of points, so it was hard to pull him off the ice. Good
heavens, Dave, times have changed, haven't they, when you think maximum time shifts these days are 45 seconds. The game's so much quicker.
Well, it really is, and the conditioning element is a much bigger factor as well. Players are in much better shape now than they were back then, so the speed of the game obviously has increased, and that'll limit your ice time. I don't think they can get the 2-minute shifts anymore. If the guys do it, certainly not on purpose.
That 3rd year with the Rangers, you guys somehow get to the Stanley Cup final. I mean, getting by the Islanders was one thing. Just how good were the Montreal Canadiens at the end of that great run that they had?
They were phenomenal every year. You know, they won 4 or 5 cups in a row, and they had a great team. And we actually went in their building and won the first game, but we all had ideas of grandeur about maybe winning the Stanley Cup. They kicked it up a notch, and they showed us why they were the champions. A couple of the games were overtime, obviously, but they were a phenomenal organization with great players, and all the way through the lineup. A lot of them in the Hall of Fame right now, so you can see why.
What was it like playing with kids like Steve Thomas and Gary Lehman, who were just really getting their careers started?
It was great. You know, we had a great group of young guys, and they probably looked to me a little bit as a veteran leadership group down there. And I remember a lot of conversations I had with Stevie Thomas when he was a rookie, and a lot of interesting concepts on his part. You realize how young they are and how green they are with some of the questions they ask you. So it was a great, you know, that's when I kind of knew I was going to get into the coaching part of it, and that was a big thing for me.
Championships are special. Let's go back to your days in New Brunswick, Mike Kazicki and company, and that Calder Cup. What do you remember back from that special season?
Well, anytime you win a championship, it's usually you're involved with a great group of guys. We had a phenomenal leadership group there, good coaching with Orville Tessier, and we had a great group of guys, half Chicago, kind of half Toronto. More Chicago, I think, than Toronto. There was only 2 or 3 of us from Toronto, but just a great year from start to finish. We just kind of ran with it and were able to win the championship, so it worked out great.